are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hi, friends. Welcome to my very most favorite night of the week. It's Soul Wanderings Night, a show about journey stories, and we are hanging out here on the one and the only KGRAradio.com, which is heard throughout our universe every Wednesday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And each week we get to wander with a new guest about their authentic experiences through this human journey. And it's so awesome to have you guys here with us for another live show tonight. If you are interested, we are also hanging out on live video on the official KGRA Radio page and official YouTube channel as well. So make sure you guys hop on over there so you can hang out with myself and my guest. My name is AJ Rasmussen, and I am an owner and a manager of a heart-centered healing space called Vibes, Mind, Body, Spirit. And it's there where I get to assist others in their personal journeys in healing the mind, body, spirit, and the heart. I'm also your host of Soul Wanderings. If you are new around here and you're listening live with us tonight, come and hang out with us in the chat room. It's hosted on KGRAradio.com. It's where myself and other wanderers hang out, and I'm able to grab your questions if you have them. You will want to be there too if that's the case. So make sure you guys go over to KGRAradio.com/chat, or even just click on the chat room and you'll pop right in. And I just really hope that you guys find yourself there with myself and other wanderers, because it's a fun place to hang out and you can ask those questions. All right, everyone, we're just going to get started right away. Tonight, our guest is Matthew Dean Aubrey, and he is currently practicing shamanic healing for the higher consciousness community. As he put it, as he puts it, healing for the healers. And he focuses on soul retrieval, manifestation through expression, and healing heart hurts and growing heart space. That feels so warm and fuzzy. But I don't know if it is.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, it's warm and fuzzy.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
Welcome to Soul Wanderings.
Thank you very much.
It's so awesome to have you here. Thanks for
you.
sharing space with me.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out so you could be here with us. Soul Wanderings is a really amazing platform where we can show up as authentically as we're comfortable with and really share from a place, which I like to say, my heart, because it's a heart show. It really is about sharing our authentic journey through this human experience, and we all have a journey to share, and you're no different.
Very good. Yeah, I'm prepared to share my heart, I guess.
I love that.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I don't know. What all do you want to know? Background,
yeah,
stuff like that?
Who are you? Who is Matthew Dean Aubrey, first of all?
Well, I'm a carpenter currently. I've been a mechanic. I'm a father. I'm 40 years old. I come from a very strict Christian background. I don't know how detailed you want the background to be, but
that's really up to you and your comfort level. So share whatever you feel.
I'm recovering from addiction issues. I'm an abuse survivor. Yeah, so I'm a healer. You know, I've gone through some trauma, and it's taken me into some really different, I would say, surreal experiences that have put me into what I feel like is contact with the all-creating energy in the universe. I'm not really that well read when it comes to higher consciousness type books or anything like that, but anything that I have read, I've had certain ideas or messages from the universe, I like to call them, confirmed and affirmed through anything that I've read. So I think I'm on the right path. I get inspired and I roll with it. I try to operate from a place outside of ego and in touch with unconditional love. To the best of my ability. It's an exercise. I don't do it perfect.
Who does, really?
Right. But
right?
it's like any other exercise, At first it's really painful actually, but through a workout regimen and disciplines, it becomes easier and easier for me. So
Creating a routine.
That has something to do with it. Also being able to step outside of your routine, and it's like getting a full workout as opposed to just cardio or, just the bicep group or, whatever, just arms or just legs. You really want to focus on a balanced workout. So.
When you say a balanced workout, do you mean balanced in your body or like mind, body, spirit?
Mind, body, spirit, absolutely.
And the heart.
I kind of tend to go with if I heal my heart or my spirit or however you want to identify that. If I heal my spirit, everything else kind of falls into place. My mind, I don't really feel the need to participate in any sort of mood altering substance abuse or use. I've really limited like doctor visits, things like that. It's just I've healed my spirit and my body's kind of following suit, So
yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
what a place for you to be,
right?
After what you've been through.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is. Well, congratulations on the efforts made and the progress that you have had in focusing on the balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is a great accomplishment. I've seen so many people, as well as you have, I'm sure, who have gotten lost in the conditioning. We were talking about that before the show. The conditioning or the addictions or the trauma or whatever that looks like, that they aren't able to come to that place of finding even a platform of balance, let alone forming that type of balance.
Sure. I know for me, you first have to realize that you're out of balance or whatever. I had to realize that the lifestyle choices that I was making were very limiting, and it was keeping me confined. It wasn't allowing my spirit to grow. I wasn't being allowed to grow emotionally, going downhill physically, really suffering effects from being and operating in a certain lifestyle, really struggling with my identity even, to the point where I decided not to identify myself as that person anymore. I got so frustrated with the lifestyle and how stifling it felt. So I stopped identifying myself even as that person. So it's almost like developing an alter ego, but one with your higher self, one of authenticity, letting the inside really match what's coming through on the outside. So
how does that feel for you now, knowing that you were out of balance and now you are becoming into balance, and the difference that is for you?
Well, I have to say it feels alien. a lot of the time. When you put down lifestyle choices, I guess, or trying to fit in with a certain group of people, or whatever it is, it really frees you to make whatever choices you're moved to make, and exploratorily, like through my exploration, I've made some really not necessarily socially acceptable choices, but I've had to kind of disconnect with what other people think, and realize that what other people think about me is none of my business. And I have a responsibility to my higher self to really explore the depths of my emotion, heal the traumas that I've experienced in my life, and really stop refracting this white light, this all creating energy in the universe, or whatever, this universal truth. Stop refracting it and smooth out kind of the rough edges, so that I can maybe magnify it,
Yeah, absolutely. So you said letting go of other people's thoughts of you,
Sure.
or judgments towards you, was a thing. And I feel like that's a thing for a lot of us.
Right.
In everything we do, even after some of the work, or even a lot of the work has been done, we still have this, well, what if I come across this way, or how am I going to show up to this certain group of people? What were some things that you did as an offer to our listeners that you did that created that place for you to let that bleep go, let that crap go?
Well,
because that's a big thing.
Sure, absolutely. I'll be honest with you. So, I really like spirituality, all different sorts. I read the Bible every day. I've studied the gospel of Christ, and where I really found solace was, I believe he's an ascended master or whatever. Definitely somebody that had the right idea, and I also think that people have twisted the right idea into organizational,
a human aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a power struggle, control struggle. But I think the message is pure. And when he said that his disciples are no part of this world, just as he's no part of this world, I really found solace in that. And even he was persecuted, and all he was carrying was a message of love, love for God and love for your neighbor as you love yourself. That was the whole of the law, right? That's the whole commandment or whatever that he was carrying. And he was even put to death. He wasn't accepted at all. It wasn't socially acceptable. Just as unconditional love, it's not going to be socially acceptable. I got to tell you, when you stop placing expectations and you let go of outcomes, even to other people's behavior, and you can continue to love them regardless of their behavior, even if that means, letting them go and leave your life or whatever, and allowing them the space to be human and understanding and compassion. They think you're weird.
Yeah. How can someone do that?
Right. And I mean, to just continually show up and express love for somebody just because it exists, the love for them exists, and you get to carry that, you get to carry that message of love to them just so that they know that they're loved, right, without any attachment to reciprocation even, that's where love's power really comes in, and you get to start planting seeds and seeing fruit in other people's life,
Yes, absolutely. I have noticed from my own journey, when you begin that unconditional love aspect, when you really love them in the place that they are, where they're at most of the time is, why are you loving me like this, and what's your motive?
Absolutely, yeah.
And they get very uncomfortable because you just see them for who and what they are, and you love them anyway.
Right.
What's your experience been with that?
Well, thus far, it's been rough, you know. Most of the time, we were talking about this before the show too. Most of the time, people get caught up in trying to even learn how to love themselves, and they're caught up with this idea that I can't love anybody else unless I love myself first. And I don't really operate.
You don't play into that?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I would contend that carrying love for other people is a way of loving myself. Once I get my ego out of the way and start loving someone in spite of my identity, right? Like how I identify myself, which is all of this. It has a lot to do with trauma and fear and, oh, well, they behaved in this way, so now I have to respond in this way in order to keep the game going or whatever,
Right,
you know?
right.
But when you're just like, okay, you know, I accept that or whatever. Yeah, it's been rough. My experience has been rough with it, but it's a learning experience for me. It doesn't always work out great. People don't know how to love themselves or receive love, you know, but they are caught up in loving themselves. So a lot of the time you're welcome because you love them, you know, not necessarily because they're capable of loving you or whatever, but yeah. So as far as a romantic relationship goes, anyways, that's been my experience. Like with friendships and stuff like that, man, it's great, you know, because it's everything that people want in a friendship, you know?
Well, don't you find also when you get into those romantic relationships, not only do you have the authentic part of yourself working with one another, there's also those human emotions like the expectations and things like that that come up. And so seeing that unconditional love is kind of masked or jaded a little bit until, you know, they have the aha moment that it really is an unconditional place of love.
Sure. Yeah, I think things outside of us always get in the way. Even sometimes things inside of us get in the way, and we behave and react adversely to different situations, triggers, what have you. However, I don't like to live there. I like to identify it. I like to rectify behavior. And when when I'm operating from that place, it can get really messy really quick. I find that I'm a pretty powerful person. I can build people up and turn them into gods or goddesses, you know, in their own mind, or I can break them down pretty far too. And yeah, so when I start operating from ego, it's not great for me. I'd much rather just build someone up to the level that they feel comfortable or whatever, you know, or even just really lovely.
Or even a little bit more, just to kind of push those boundaries to show them that they're capable of having more.
Sure,
of
absolutely.
feeling more. Yeah.
And you know, even outside of us, things get in the way too. You know, responsibilities, what have you.
Life in general.
Yeah, life gets in the way, and it's nice to have that that unconditional space, that that sacred space, if you will, to retreat to. You know, when things get really bad on the outside, or if they happen to even just get uncomfortable, you can retreat to that space and be like, okay, this is where we get to love each other, you know? Yeah, in spite of all of this stuff, you know?
And I'm sure you've had the same experiences where you have been in friendships or romantic relationships with another human where they're not in the same space as you. and the feeling that you get, I know for me it's encompassing. It's like overwhelmingly emotional for me because it's so deep and so much love at one period of time to hold space for another human being that's not in the same space as you or even more.
Mm-hmm.
How has that affected you, offering that unconditional love to another person in that type of support system?
Well, it's definitely, the result is I get to grow in my capacity to experience love and also to express love, because it's an incomplete, for me, it's an incomplete love if you're just experiencing it and not expressing it. So I like the term love in action. And
That's good.
Right. I like to show up and express my love, and yeah, so when people aren't in the same place, sometimes showing up and expressing your love means not showing up,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. If they're not in the same place, then they're just not. If it's not healthy for them, then it's not, or if it's not healthy for you, then it's not. If it's just something that's stifling, I get to experience love and express love on a lot of different levels. If I want to choose to do that, I guess I have to operate within certain parameters on what people are able to receive,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. And assessing that, I mean, that takes a long time, It's something that we spend our whole relationship doing, like,
Right.
Okay, it's constant assessment and expression, you assess the situation and what's appropriate to express.
Well, what about just showing up as you are, just as you are, and they'll take from you what they're capable of taking in that moment, or receiving, I should say, in that
Mm-hmm.
moment, instead of assessing what they are capable of receiving. Don't you think there's a little difference there, though? Like, we'll give and give. I know you and I both are givers. We'll just give, and give, because that's our nature. That's what we have learned feels good for us, to a certain degree, because we also have to, fill our bucket in order to give.
Sure.
Which is a whole nother topic I'm sure we'll get into later. But just having that moment with another human being and giving them what we have, and they'll receive it to the best of their ability.
Yeah. Are you talking about takers?
Yeah, there are those. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, there are people that are narcissistic out there. I've had experiences with people that are narcissistic.
Right.
And they like you around because you're willing to love them, just as much as they love them. And
right.
And I won't get too deep into outcomes or anything like that. I'd hate to form a projected outcome for anyone, but I participated in a long-term relationship that was like that. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, when you realize that love isn't of you and you're not creating this unconditional love, but it comes from somewhere else, man, there's no limit as to what one person can express. Right. There's no limit. And you don't need to get your bucket filled, because really people aren't taking anything from you. You're getting your bucket filled from spirit or God, or however you want to articulate your belief in the all creating energy in the universe, the powers that be, whatever, however you want to articulate that. When you're receiving, and you consider yourself more like an antenna, and you're drawing it in, and an antenna and a broadcast, if you will. Mm-hmm. So you draw it in, you receive the signal, and you get to broadcast it, right? Then there's not really any taking, because it was never yours really anyway. You just get to broadcast it, and you get to love someone just because they're them, and just because God doesn't make junk, and they're a perfect articulation and expression of a piece of God. And man, it's at that point it's really you're like in an Ouroboros type state. It's very cyclical, everything's moving, everything's flowing, and it's a beautiful state. As long as you let go of your attachments to what people think about you.
Right. I absolutely adore your answer in that you have made it not about yourself, but the other person.
Sure.
And that's one thing that attracted me to you in conversation, is that it's not about you. It is about the other person, and it is about us as a whole, as in one. And I really admire your answer and respect what you have shared with us. I think it's a great outlook and perspective for other people to consider or adopt. So
Sure.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
We're going to take a break.
Okay.
I'll let you finish that thought here in a second. We are Soul Wandering with Matthew, Aubrey, and we are going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we will return with our wandering.
Hi, Matt Ray here with America's First News, and I have a question for you. What do we all have in common, regardless of our age or profession? The busy, the elderly, students, doesn't matter. What do we all have in common? Stress, right? Stress causes anxiety in our lives, and we are susceptible to memory issues from time to time too. So why not guard against both? Guard against the effects of chronic stress and improve your memory with one supplement, Calm and Clever. Ingredients help enhance memory and retain new information, while other ingredients reduce stress by maintaining healthy levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Sharpen your mind and feel calm and centered. Try Calm and Clever. Go to calmandclever.com. Enter the promo code radio for $5 off. Again, calmandclever.com. Enter the promo code radio for $5 off.
AncientLifeOil.com. For your CBD needs, just remember, AncientLifeOil.com. What does it do for the body, you ask? I can't say to the people in the suits that run the industry. Big Pharma is all over CBD because of its well, you know what I mean. Research the benefits of CBD on Google and come back to AncientLifeOil.com and purchase your CBD today. Non-GMO and all organic. You don't want to be using a petroleum product. You want to be using the cleanest CBD product on the market. AncientLifeOil.com. We even have CBD for your pet. Help your pet's discomfort. Help your discomfort. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Newly reduced prices to pass off the savings to the most important person, you. AncientLifeOil.com. And one more thing, we have topicals too. So if you have joint pain and some different issues that are going on in your body, you might want to use a topical. Think about it. AncientLifeOil.com.
Get ready, Knoxville, Tennessee. The Alien Expo is coming August 17th and 18th at the Knoxville Convention Center. Prominent top-level UFO researchers and experiencers from around the world present Real X-Files, encounters with UFOs, true alien abduction accounts, contact with extraterrestrial beings. See America's most high-profile contactee, Travis Walton. Hear about bases on the moon from former NASA aerospace engineer Ken Johnson, MUFON abduction expert and niece to Betty and Barney Hill, Kathleen Martin, UFO truth embargo and disclosure advocate Stephen Bassett. Come and enjoy a full weekend of presentations, music, vendors, meet and greets, book signings and autographs, cosplay, alien costume contests, and more. Day passes, weekend passes, and VIP passes available now. The first annual Alien Expo, powered by Mysterious Radio. Make contact at alienexpo.com.
listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, you are listening to Soul Wanderings on KGRARadio.com. We're welcoming you back to the show, and tonight our guest is Matthew Aubrey. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for sticking around for some more time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I never know if someone's like, whoa, this is way too much. I'm out of here.
No, I feel rather at home.
Good. I like to have like organic, comfy conversation. And I love the chairs they provide us because I can just sit back like I'm at home. And the only difference is we have cameras and mics in our face,
Right.
Just ignore all that.
Yeah, it's an exercise for sure, but you do really well. I just wanted to compliment you. You're doing really well.
Thank you. And you're so comfy.
Yeah.
It's good.
Thank you.
So before the break, we were talking about showing up authentically for other people and at their comfort level. And you were about to share something with me. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah. You said that I've made my expression of love not so much about myself, but about the other person. And I would contend that it's not just about the other person either, but it's more of an introduction to God, if you will, the all-creating energy in the universe, unconditional love, just a proof that it's an introduction. Yes, it does exist. Yes, we can work toward this. Yes, there are people willing to work toward this, So, yeah, even though I don't do it right all the time, it's not a perfect expression all the time. That is definitely the goal. And it's about, like you were saying, you said during the break, it's about all of us. And it really is, it's about realizing that when I'm showing you love, I am showing me love, and it's a breakdown of the ego, which is what separates us from each other. It's what separates us from God. It's what separates us from everything, So it really helps to be able to operate on that frequency.
I believe in the same thing that you're expressing to us tonight. And I've noticed that through witnessing, being around other people as much as I am, that there is a great divide between us, those who believe that we are all one and we are all taking each other home, if you will, versus those who are of themselves and against each other.
Absolutely. I think we run into a lot of that in the healing community, and this is where I'd like to talk about a little bit about healing for healers, right? So what drew me to the higher consciousness community was my trauma, and the desire to heal, right? So through watching other people operate, watching them be able to regurgitate rhetoric and learn the language or whatever, and then not be able to back it up with like practical application, doing their own work. I felt a lot like I was back in church, and so yeah, and getting to the point with my questions where people were like, you just got to have faith, and that answer doesn't work for me, or you just got to love yourself, or you just got to forgive. Those answers don't work for me. I'm not 5 anymore, that doesn't work for me. So how do you know that I can't love somebody else until I love myself? How do you forgive someone, what are some things I can do to get me in that process, of forgiveness or whatever? And don't tell me meditation, like I want real answers here.
You want some action.
Right. I want to be where the action is. I want to start healing myself. And through my own introspect and through doing my own work, I learned that forgiveness really has nothing to do with other people's slights. It's about realizing that they aren't real slights until I perceive them as such, and meeting them with understanding, compassionate, empathetic heart, and empathetic attitude, and walking in their shoes, feeling their pain, wanting to help them heal, they're not real slights at all. It's like when throughout my life, when I've been triggered about trauma and stuff, different abuses that have happened of the most heinous kind, real abominations. And I don't want to get into that, the details of that, but just the most heinous kind of abuses. And when I was re-experiencing that, and hearing people, even as of late, share about, oh, you attract that from another life or something, and I'm like, no, man, I didn't attract that, I didn't have it coming. You know what I mean? On any level, my soul didn't attract that. My brokenness, my karma didn't attract that. That's what makes it an abomination. Sometimes people just take, and their brokenness and their trauma actually attracts it, and they're in a cycle. It's my job to take the trauma and deal with it responsibly, and that's it. It's just something that happened, that's it. It's I can look and start trying to point fingers and blame, or I can really take a look inside myself and start to heal the actual heart hurts, the soul fragmentation that happens in those areas, really start to undo the abomination, and not continue the cycle of abuse on any level, like, because I've been abusive, emotionally abusive, even physically abusive to people in my past and stuff. I don't want to live that way. I don't want to operate that way, and even just recognizing the damage that it's done to them and seeing the abomination, like carrying that responsibility for my own behavior too, yeah, and just realizing that, okay, so forgiveness, you're not really gifting them anything other than understanding, understanding, empathy, compassion, all of these fruits of love, right? They're fruits of love, and they're fruits of a whole spirit, kindness, all of these things. All of the most beautiful, wonderful things, generosity, in the world are fruits of this whole spirit, So I choose to practice spiritual principles in place of my fragmentation or whatever. And in turn, that develops relationship with the universe for me, like I get to see and create a positive rift, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense to me.
All
absolutely.
right.
I say absolutely a lot. I've just realized that in this very moment. Thank you. Are you, I'm assuming, but I want to ask, are you one to believe that our experiences are what happens for us, not to us?
I think that is a matter of perception, which is egoically motivated, and it's a choice. You can perceive it as being about you or for you or to you, or you can perceive it as just something that happens. This is something that happens, and it's not about me. It's not for me, but how I choose to act in the face of my different experiences. That is what is for us, And when I start operating on a more collective level, like for us, in the best interest of all of us, that's when that's when I get to experience God, like, and when I kind of look at things, not from my own eyes, but from what I perceive as a godlike perspective, higher self perspective, whatever you want to call it. A higher perspective for me, a different perspective that's not about me. That's when I get to act independently of even that happening in the face of it, and the happening in and of itself really loses its power at that point.
Yeah. It really comes to a place of it doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's irrelevant.
Right. When people self-identify as, well, I even did it at the beginning of the show, I'm an abuse survivor, all of a sudden that has so much stigma. Even just wearing that, saying that to yourself attaches so much stigma about, how you're supposed to act, or
right.
You're already a perceived victim, or, and it creates all of this interaction in your life that's just way beyond your control once you speak it. You just spoke it into existence. Whereas if I never said anything, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
It's true too. Yeah, I've experienced the same thing where people ask how I opened the spiritual healing center that I did and what's my story. And the truth of the matter is, it happened because I had an awakening, and the awakening happened because of trauma and abuse. And I have no attachment to that experience anymore, and it's not my story per se, but it is the truth on which put me on this platform to begin my journey.
Sure.
But in saying it, I feel like it gives it this energy, this heartbeat that I've put to rest. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's not the energy I want to give it, but it's the truth. That's my truth. That's my experience to it. And so I feel like it's wherever someone is on their journey or in their experience, how they'll perceive what you said. It's not necessarily going to be the same across the board.
Right. I agree with you. Now, something else I'd like to add is what makes our experiences about everyone too, for me. Once again, I'm going to refer to the Bible. I'm not sure exactly where, but it says in there, just as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And we experience, in another passage, it says we experience what we go through in order to be able to relate and help other people, and I'm a huge believer in that. That's what's led me to being a healer, really attacking my own traumas and smoothing out the rough edges in order to be able to become authentic and operate authentically. And I'd really like to be able to carry that to I don't want to put limits on who I carry it to, whoever needs it or whoever is also ready to heal,
And they show up. I feel like everything is always in perfect timing. From my experience, I feel like those people always show up in the perfect time to have that experience that they were meant to have. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. There aren't any accidents in my world today. I feel like not only the spirit that runs through me or the light that runs through me, but also I get to make meaning and purpose out of anything, So if the egoic me decides that this is purposeful and I get to bring, love to this situation or healing to this situation, then that's the way it's going to be,
Right, because you're the creator of your reality.
Right, absolutely.
After all.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've had someone show up in my awareness who believes so similar and in line with what I have felt and what I believe. I know that there's several of us out there, but it's interesting owning a metaphysical new age shop,
yeah,
quote unquote. the type of people who come into your space, and the ones who are just talking the talk and not actually doing the work, and not as a judgment for me onto them, but as an experience that I've had with people I resonate with, that because I know where I'm coming from personally. I know where my heart is centered. I know where my journey has begun or where it is now, and the vibration just hasn't matched.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I think people oftentimes, they will be doing some sort of work, but I think it's important to point out too that it's not a judgment per se. It is an assessment, though.
Right.
It is a discernment, So sometimes people will be doing some sort of work, but it's based on work that they've been told to do. Or I feel like once again, it's a lot like church, without that security of being backed up by mentors or, your tribe or whatever, people have a real hard time stepping out and saying, look, these are the universal truths that I've been introduced to because I decided to be completely celibate for a year, or I started fasting and praying, or fasting and meditating, and these are the universal truths that I was introduced to,
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I can find these truths in books too, and man, what a great affirmation, or whatever, that I'm on the right track, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, It's like people don't want to just take the initiative to listen to their own being,
Mm-hmm.
as to something that they can do in order to disrupt their own path or whatever, the path that their inertia that they've developed based on decisions that they've made or whatever,
Right.
So I don't know.
It is interesting, though, coming from a place of non-judgment,
Right.
and just honoring the place that they're in, because we who are, like, I say we as in you and I,
Sure.
we're in this place now, which may not even be in the exact same place, but we have been in that place. So we can observe and notice the place in which they are in and where they're headed to.
Sure. Even honor the place that they're in, because
Exactly. Yes.
and respect the place that they're in
Yes.
too. Honor and respect are huge, man. I felt like I was back in church as if it were a bad thing. I don't perceive church or organized religion as a necessarily bad or unproductive thing. I think that it's great that people are investing in their spirituality. I am 100% about that. It's almost like playing the stock market, you go with the tried and true sometimes, and sometimes you take risks and you hit jackpot, and man, I'm just tired of going with the tried and the true or whatever. And I think that sometimes the tried and the true becomes an abomination and a mechanism for abuse and fear and stuff like that. And I'm to a point where I'm ready to put those things down,
There's so much peace in laying those quote unquote weapons down, right? Surrendering
Surrender. It's huge.
surrendering to what is, and receiving the beauty of it all.
Sure. That's where it starts for me. I've worked through a 12-step program. The steps are it's a spiritually based program, and a cognitive restructuring. And the thing that's so beautiful to me about the steps is, man, you can apply that as deep, and you can go as deep as you want, literally carving new pathways in your brain, So each step has a spiritual principle about it, and they don't necessarily articulate this, but the first step is surrender, Second step is hope. Third step, faith. Fourth step, acceptance for yourself and others, and that's what it that's what it teaches you, all the way up to service of your fellow man, so just patience and acceptance for yourself and others, love for yourself and others, and love in action, so I really feel like people need to develop these aspects of love in order to be able to perceive love as all encompassing, that for me, I had to develop each different aspect of it, like empathy was huge for me. It was a huge leap for me to understanding, like I had always talked about how relationships were about making the leap to understanding, and I didn't really understand the power of my own words when I would say that, and back in my previous life or whatever, I didn't understand the power of my words there, but after losing enough relationships, I really started examining my own rhetoric. And I'm like, man, making a leap to understanding, how can I do that? How can I make that leap sometimes? And I'm like, well, I better figure out how to build bridges because I can't make that leap, So I started just investing in understanding where someone was coming from. Anyone different than me, anyone that triggered some sort of fear or non-acceptance in me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was coming from a complete place of ego. So I had a lot of judgment for anybody, that that was doing things a little bit differently than society said they were supposed to,
Right.
So I had to step out of that and really start attacking and challenging my own limiting belief system. I don't even like the words I believe anymore because it's so limiting to me. I have ideas, they're in constant flow, hopefully developing them, or I'm letting them go.
But your beliefs are constantly changing.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, they're growing. It's like developing a relationship with you, 2 years from now, it's going to be something completely different than what it is today, depending on how we're relating or whatever. If I continue to invest and try to get to know you, I'm going to probably know a good portion about you, a lot more than I know about you today. And I find the same thing with energy, the more I invest and the more I try to get to know energy, learn the language, energetic languages, how to attract it, how to flex it, if you will, receive it, give it, all of that. I'm going to know quite a bit more about it. So
I love the involvement that takes place, especially once you become more aware with how you are feeling, even if it's moment by moment, and taking inventory on your experiences that you're having, past, present, and hopefully you're not thinking too much about the future, but, just taking inventory of how we're feeling, taking stock of what's going on and how much it matters and how much it doesn't matter to us. Or I don't even like to say shouldn't, but for lack of a better word in this moment, how it doesn't relate to what is important in this time.
I think I hear what you're saying.
I'm so good at scrambling up.
No, it's okay. Let me just reiterate for you.
I'm all over the place. I admit it.
No, you're not. I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly and I'm receiving the right message. But so what I'm hearing you say is that sometimes the happenings or the way that we feel about certain things happening in our life, more often than not, it's not the happening in and of itself, but the way that we feel about it. It can become really big and the most important thing going on in the world.
If we allow it.
If we feed it, or if we obsess on it, or if we give it that power, right? And yeah, so I employ this little tactic quite often. I love the words, so what? Especially when applied to me. and the way that I feel about these different situations. It's not necessarily important the way that I feel about different situations. What's important is that I'm behaving in a way that really adds something to the situation rather than detracts from it. And this is a hard thing for me because sometimes I react adversely. Sometimes I do, but I really try. Yeah, I really try in this aspect. So yeah, I love to employ the phrase, so what? Especially in conversations with myself. I'm like, yeah, this such and such is going on and I feel like this, and then I'll follow it up with, yeah, but so what? It's not the biggest thing in the world. You're not the biggest thing in the world, and this is going on for this and this reason. What can we do to add to the situation rather than detract from it or make it worse? What can I do to benefit everyone in the situation? Where's the win-win?
Yeah.
So
that's so good. Oh my gosh, that just feels so good.
Yeah. So what?
So what? But it feels really good.
Right?
So what? So what? You guys are listening to Soul Wanderings on KGRAradio.com. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we will continue our wandering with Matthew Aubrey.
The International UFO Congress and Film Festival is right around the corner in beautiful downtown Phoenix, Arizona, September 4th through 8th. Get your tickets at ufocongress.com. Come see your favorite UFO researchers and TV show hosts from Ancient Aliens, Unidentified, Alien Highway, and Ghosts of Morgan City. You will not want to miss this one. Come see why everyone loves the UFO Congress and keeps coming back year after year. Go to ufocongress.com. That's ufocongress.com for tickets and more information. See you there.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
Feeling sluggish, bloated, gassy, and, well, want some relief? Try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. Our unique blend of all natural herbs go to work on your digestive tract, giving you So before you try our super strength formula. It does a great job removing intruders that jack you up. Thousands of people use Life Change Tea every month, so try it because you're gonna love the way you feel. And here's a little pick-me-up. Order now and receive 10% off your first order by entering in 10 today in the coupon code. That's 10 today in the coupon code. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Enter 10 today in the coupon code for your 10% discount. Wow, feeling good never felt so good. Get some tea love at getthetea.com. Changing America one tea bag at a time.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Now you have the inside contact for Alternative Talk Radio. The Planet. KGRAradio.com.
You are listening to Soul Wanderings on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Salt Lake City, Utah, Hudson Valley, New York. You can find Soul Wanderings here as well as many other platforms for your convenience, such as iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and make sure you guys are checking out the official YouTube page. That's where we are live tonight, as well as Facebook. But wherever you guys are joining us from tonight, hello, welcome. Thanks for being here with us. We are wandering with Matthew Aubrey tonight, and we're talking about, I think it feels pretty good and safe to say, all things heart related.
I hope so.
all the good stuff. All the good stuff. If you guys have questions for our guests, make sure you are in the chat room. That can be found on kgraradio.com/chat, or just go to kgraradio.com and click on the chat room. And there's still plenty of time to ask, you guys, so hop on in there. I'm hanging out there, as well as other wanderers tonight, so you'll want to be there too. Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
You're here for another hour of wandering.
I love wandering.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you. Thank you. That must be the unconditional love stuff we've been talking about.
Oh no, that's genuine expression.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You know, Soul Wanderings really is an amazing platform for us to just have this really good, heart-centered, organic, authentic conversation, like the stuff that really matters, and in hopes of inspiring and motivating and uplifting others. And so they know that they are also capable of, and already are, these amazing beings of light and love.
Sure.
We're just waiting for everyone to show up, right?
Right. The realization that you're perfect expression and articulation of a piece of God, really, and act accordingly, you know?
Yes, yes. So in your bio, you shared with us that you're on this shamanic journey.
Sure.
What does that mean for you, and what does that look like for you?
Well, contemporary shamanism. Wow. What it looks like for me is just like what we've been talking about, kind of setting down any sort of lifestyle preference or participation, and really kind of choosing to shun the ego. It's an ego death is what it is. And mine keeps coming back to life at points. I try to kill it, but, you know.
Isn't that a constant thing, though?
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah,
if we're really doing
exercise.
the work, it really is an exercise, yes.
Yeah, it's just like working out. But it's a choice to exist in a different realm, if you will, than most people operate on. You know, it's a choice to let go of my attachment to even material, really simplify my life and get anything out of the way that is in the way of me being in touch with spirit or the all-creating energy, God. And letting go of even what that needs to look like, or limiting belief systems about how it needs to be done, or anything like that. So really, just like shamans of old, in any culture, they're usually ostracized from the rest of the tribe, and kept separate from the tribe. And they're called in to heal or perform medicine, perform ritual for, demon exorcism or demonic exorcism, or like even to invoke demonic possession of themselves in order to receive guidance. I do a lot of the same thing. I'm an open channel, willing to receive guidance as long as it's in the highest good of my own community, and in relation with my own community. I fancy myself a healer on the soul level, as well as on the physical level. A lot of the ailments today, I believe, are our mind is a powerful mechanism. And when we're told that we're sick so often, especially by ourselves, you know, then we end up believing it. And, you know, I've even been healed on an energetic level or whatever from ailments that I needed operations to fix. And, like, I've just seen it work just through a willingness to, operate differently. I've healed myself from, like, allergies, let's say. Allergies. Yeah. I used to be incredibly allergic to cats, right? Like emergency room allergic to cats. And through some basic NLP practicing, neuro-linguistic programming, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but through some basic NLP practice, I'm not allergic to cats anymore. I have very limited allergic reaction to anything. Like dust tickles my nose, so I'll sneeze or whatever, but we're talking about closing of my esophagus and stuff like that. You know, it doesn't happen anymore. I get to interact with the animals that I love now, you know. I don't really have seasonal allergies. I also have had asthma in the past, and I don't really suffer too much from asthma anymore. I'm in like the best shape of my life, you know, and I'm 40 years old. How often do people get to say that, you know?
Right. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool for me. And I just don't operate on that level anymore, you know. I don't believe what the media says about how I should be feeling or you know, how I should be looking or whatever, you know. And we get bombarded with all of that stuff about what's normal and what isn't, you know.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm just not attached to any of that. I really had to stop watching television, you know, because of all of that attachment. Like, I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm normal. I don't got to do anything different. I can just keep doing the same thing, you know. And it doesn't matter if my spirit's, you know, yelling at me or whatever, that there's more out there, you know. It doesn't matter because there really isn't more out there. It's all about, you know, the houses I can buy, which I've owned a few, and I don't recommend it, but
you don't recommend owning houses?
No, I don't really. I think it's a trap, but
I concur.
Right. And you know, it ends up owning me is what happens. I've had money, I've had success that's measurable, materially measurable, you know. And man, I got to tell you, it hasn't kept my relationships. Certainly hasn't kept my spirit alive, you know. And I was constantly trying to find ways to escape, like through the use of substances, alcohol, drugs, whatever. And it ruined my life, you know. So I get to live today and experience things through a new set of eyes. They're not mine, you know. They're not mine. I don't identify with the me so much anymore. It's a choice to operate as a liaison to the spirit realm, you know, as a liaison to our highest good and our highest potential of healing, you know.
Let me interrupt you right there.
Ahead.
You say you don't relate to what is going on in your human experience. Is that what you're saying?
I don't invest in that so much. Like we were just talking about, so what, right? Me as, like, we'll take, you know, I used to go by Matt instead of Matthew. We'll take this as an example, right? So Matt is the old me, right? Matt likes to fight. Matt likes to drink. Matt likes to do drugs. Matt likes to, be inappropriate and argue with people and make them uncomfortable. Matt likes shock value. Matt likes all of these different things that are rather destructive, you know? Whereas Matthew doesn't invest so much in those things and doesn't really have a need for that expression, you know, because Matthew doesn't belong to Matt, you know? Matthew doesn't belong to Matt. Yeah, there is a separation. Matthew belongs to God, you know. And so, like, I go to work for God. God signs my checks, you know, and It's an interesting state. You talk about an awakening as like a happening. For me, it was a process, and now it's a state. So I'm in constant state of being awake, right? It means that
That's good. I feel like I can relate to that.
Yeah, I'm awake.
Better than having a spiritual awakening.
Right. I'm spiritually awake, and that means that sometimes I do oscillate back into the Matt personality or the egoic expression of Matthew,
Mm-hmm.
And man, it can become a mess really quick, but also, there are lovable things about Matt too, an intelligent human being or whatever, if I had to make an assessment, very powerful human being, capable of a lot of different things.
Sounds passionate.
Right, very passionate. But yeah, there's a lot of things that were lovable about Matt that have had to take kind of a wayside too. So I'll oscillate back and forth, and I try to, if I am going to oscillate back into the egoic me, I try not to make it so messy, and I try to be cute about it or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Not as abrasive as the Matt prior.
Yeah, right. So I get to pick my battles today, but upon awakening, you get a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're living in a state of wakefulness, you get to have a choice, right? And you can see things going down before they actually go down, and you're like, okay, this is a perfect time for Matthew to step in and start operating,
Is that because you're more aware now of what the bigger picture is and what's going on in your reality than you were prior?
Absolutely. When you start looking at things through a larger set of eyes, something outside of yourself, and approaching any situation like you're making a soup, right? You're making a soup with people, basically, right? That's what it's people soup.
Gross.
And you're responsible for the ingredients that you bring, right? You can bring all these ingredients, right? You can bring potatoes and carrots and onions and chicken stock, whatever that makes up a soup. I don't know, whatever that makes up a soup.
Yeah.
But if you bring a piece of poop to the soup, all of a sudden it's poop soup. So if you bring something that's toxic or whatever, it poisons the whole soup, man. And everybody was counting on eating that soup, So now you've just infected everyone with your toxicity. And I really believe that that's how dis-ease or discomfort, spiritual, emotional, even physical dis-ease is spread in these ways, So it comes down to the idea of sacred reciprocity. And I bring good things to the soup, then I don't have to eat poop soup. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Or if somebody else brings bad things to the soup, I have the wherewithal to say, that's toxic. I'm not going to eat that soup. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I see what you're saying. We have this ideal version of what the world would look like and feel like if we were all on the same page. And in believing that we all are one, and that we all hold this vibration of a higher consciousness, higher being. And that's what it reminds me of. You're saying like this human soup, and I'm just thinking, ew, I don't want to take that soup. I'm not putting that in my body. Because the state of the world that we're in, let's be honest, it's not ideal right now. I don't know, for one person that it's like 100% exactly where it needs to be. But do you feel like there's a vibration, there's a higher elevation happening in our consciousness? Because they're saying we're going from, a 3D perception possibly higher. Do you believe that?
I don't know. Relative to the environment that I'm in, which is Ogden City, Utah, I would have to say that I'm certainly glad that there are a lot of people that do believe that, and are at least attempting to do something to work toward that. something, anything, whether it's productive or not. However, I would have to say that, man, the state of affairs in Ogden City, Utah, it seems to me like Babylon. People, in my assessment, now this isn't gospel or anything, but in my assessment, people are doing it wrong and making it weird, and they're very distracted by all these different ideas and don't really have a focus that's worthwhile. Mm-hmm. in my assessment. So I hope that collectively outside of the United States or globally, I'm not that in touch with media to be able to know, but I hope that somewhere out there people are, educationally minded and not monetarily driven, all of that. But I think in order for a shift to happen, something big's gonna have to happen. Mm-hmm. Like a huge shock to our way of life.
What do you think that would look like?
I wouldn't presume to be able to project that. The loss of value of money, maybe something huge, like if people were no longer monetarily driven, a huge awakening. I don't know.
Something big, something substantial.
Right. I feel like even something big as the second coming of Christ, people are still going to be like, they're going to be like, oh, whatever. They're going to rationalize it away, and get back to what they're doing. That's what I feel like. Oh,
do you really?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was fake, kind of. I don't know, you have your conspiracy theorists or whatever, that'll rationalize the moon landing or whatever, away, which I'm not going to say which side of that I'm on or whatever, but I just see a lot of that, like important happenings just getting rationalized away. And once again, people saying, so what, back to business. And I really feel like that whole that the ego, the whole I think, therefore I am, is what separates us from each other and everything, and what keeps us operating on this very human level. And that's why there are the need for spiritual leaders and shamanic people, whatever, people that are willing to step outside of the societal norm and be like, listen, you too can do this work and find balance within this reality that is created around you, by not identifying with it so much. Like, it isn't who you are. These are just things that are happening.
Do you see that happening a lot more than not? In these recent days?
No. I want to see it happening. That's why I'm kind of taking initiative and doing the work myself. But even like the leaders that we have, let's Deepak Chopra, for instance, or whatever, I feel like he's done a lot of good work, but still that's his work. It doesn't, it's creating a subculture of people that are now doing the work that he's done, rather than their own work.
True. It's true. And I feel like a lot of people will get on like this fan base.
Right.
And they like what they're saying, these leaders, and they appreciate what they're saying, and even go as far to say that they're practicing what they're teaching, which obviously I don't feel is the case. It's like a trend, if you will. Just like Reiki, I feel like it's become a trend, and becoming a shamanic healer has become a trend. All of these experiences, from my assertion, my viewpoint on it. What do you feel about that? Do you feel like spirituality has become trendy, if you will, or like let's jump on the bandwagon for a little bit and ride this ride and see where it goes?
Um, well, man, I want to be able. I guess I'll just speak freely without without attachment to consequence. But
I was going to say, the people
saw,
who are going to be offended are because it's in their existence. It's in their journey right now.
Absolutely.
What is your truth, Matthew?
My truth is the moment that I saw an advertisement for competitive yoga, wow.
I have not seen
lost
that yet.
faith in people's idea of spirituality these days.
Mm-hmm.
Where there was an actual yogic competition. Man, like what an egoic expression.
What does that look like?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
It's taken the spirituality out of the actual out of the yoga, know. And where I'm a huge believer that yoga is spiritual as well as incorporating the physical. I do this myself, right? I incorporate physical activities, whatever it may be, work even, into a meditation, if you will, with a proposed outcome, manifestation or whatever through expression, right? So any sort of work, working out, physical activity while I recite a mantra, even if it's just to get rid of fear, right? Let's say I want to manifest peace inside myself.
Mm-hmm.
So just something as simple as that. So in the gym, I'm working out, right? And the whole time I'm working out, I'm just saying everything's going to work out. Everything's working out. Everything's working out exactly the way it's supposed to be, And I'm just repeating that. And not only do things tend to work out more to my liking in those instances, so it manifests something, but I've done all sorts of work that I've actually manifested, like physical things or even love with a particular human being, manifested from ego in that way, which is powerful and costly.
Yeah, costly, yes.
Yes, costly. But I mean, with the right intention, then really it just manifests positively, as long as that's the goal, But that's the essence of magic, really. I have magic in my blood. My grandfather was a brujo. My great grandfather was a brujo, and my last name Aubrey means leader of the elves. You can trace it back to Germanic hordes and stuff, right? So, it's I've got magic in my blood, right? So this is the essence of magic. Dark magic, white magic, anything like that. It's the magic that exists all around us and that can be manipulated by us, from an egoic stance, or you can get in touch with something better and make the world a better place, And I'm hoping to participate in the latter and really let go of my own attachment to monetary things. And I don't know. I don't even know how to feel. Like I've seen a lot of people charge money for their services, right? And I feel like it's a spiritual prostitution, and that's how I feel about it. But I don't know if there's a balance to it or whatever. I haven't really charged so much money for my own services, so I haven't really developed that relationship with money about spirituality.
There are some people, there are some people who believe that to be true, and then there are some people who believe it's a form of energy exchange.
Right.
Because they take the time to not just educate themselves, but work on themselves in a manner that would allow for that energy exchange to be a positive exchange. And money is just a form of exchange.
Right, and I get that.
It is challenging though, because I've struggled with that myself, especially having owned owning a shop right now where people do charge. They share my space and they do charge for their services. I have struggled back and forth with that. But also it is a brick and mortar and we do have to pay the bills, and that's something that is it's like a means to an end, and it is a value of time for the practitioners who are there. But then even when I've done energy work, I've given so many sessions away for free, just gifted my time because I felt that it was the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. And so it is a struggle for me. I mean, I won't say in a negative way. It's just been this, up and down. What do I do? What feels best for me? What would be best for my shop? What does that look like?
Right. And I agree. I'm not saying that money is the root of all evil or anything like that. What I am saying is I'm in the middle of that struggle. Mm-hmm. And I think balance is key. I think I don't want to be devalued in any way, you know, right. But at the same time, I don't want to fit into the certain mold of like being perceived as a fraud or something like that either, whereas I've known people that are fraudulent in their claims or whatever, and they have no problem charging exuberant amounts of money for their half-hearted service.
Right. And it does become ego based, mm-hmm. definitely, because they start receiving this large amount of money and they're like, wow, I'm making so much money for an hour worth of my time, and they start increasing their rates or whatever that looks like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can get off that topic. It really isn't that important. It was just a statement that I wanted to make because it is very real. So those people who are having offering these services, I feel like it's important to even just touch on, but sure, we definitely don't need to stay here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We are going to take our last break for the evening, and when we return, we'll continue our wandering with Matthew Aubrey. We'll be right back, you guys.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to a civilian job. These extraordinary men and women bring more than just teamwork and inspiration to the workplace. They bring proven world-class job skills. And to ensure proper placement, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right job fit. Talented, skilled, and eager to get back to work, you have the opportunity to hire a seasoned veteran. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Get Get ready, Knoxville, Tennessee. The Alien Expo is coming August 17th and 18th at the Knoxville Convention Center. Prominent top-level UFO researchers and experiencers from around the world present Real X-Files. Encounters with UFOs. True alien abduction accounts. Contact with extraterrestrial beings. See America's most high-profile contactee, Travis Walton. Hear about bases on the moon from former NASA aerospace engineer Ken Johnson, MUFON abduction expert and niece to Betty and Barney Hill, Kathleen Martin, UFO truth embargo and disclosure advocate Stephen Bassett. Come and enjoy a full weekend of presentations, music, vendors, meet and greets, book signings and autographs, cosplay, alien costume contests, and more. Day passes, weekend passes, and VIP passes available now. The first annual Alien Expo, powered by Mysterious Radio. Make contact at alienexpo.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, welcome back to Soul Wandering Soul Sid here on KGRAradio.com. We are wandering with Matthew Aubrey, and I'm AJ Rasmussen. Hello. I am your host of Soul Wanderings, and we are talking about all things pertaining to authentic heart matters. And you are showing up tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really honor and appreciate the person that you are in the place in which you are in, and your ability to be vulnerable with us and share part of your past and your present and the journey that you've been on. I know it takes a lot of courage to do so. So I wanted to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to share and share space, time, create collectively and authentically, and
it's so good.
Yeah, I want you to feel honored as well. I want to be able to reciprocate that. So I honor you as well, man. You're doing great work here.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.
You don't do social media. Like, you're not on Facebook, you're not on Instagram, you don't have a website, you don't watch TV. Tell me what your reasoning was behind that choice and why those things don't matter to you in a world where that is so important.
Well, let's back up. I am on Facebook. I actually have 2 different accounts. I just don't have any friends.
I'll be your friend.
And no, I'm good with that. You know, I got rid of all of my friends. I actually killed my computer after a relationship ended like 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I guess it was 4 years ago, 2015. So I killed my computer with a gunstock war club.
What?
Yeah, it's a tribal weapon, you know. They used to inlay blades in these gun stocks and make war clubs out of them. It's a Native American weapon, right? So I used to have one of these. I don't anymore, but just as I don't have a computer anymore. So I got so just drawn in by this media and being told what to think or how to feel, or even feeling like I was being manipulated into feeling certain things, and different buttons pushed within myself in order to I guess get a reaction, right? So I got tired of reacting or feeling inspired to react. I got tired of it consuming my time. I have 2 beautiful children, and they were home with me at the time, and I felt like doing something drastic to the computer in order to be able to spend time with them and let kind of my attachment to that go. So that's what I did. And I've regretted it at points, but different aspects of it probably shouldn't have been so dramatic or whatever,
You let Matt take over?
Yeah, absolutely. Back then, that's all that was operating, and it was actually through the loss of that relationship that I decided to really start changing things. And I went on literally a walk for 3 years. I walked around, and being a mechanic, you can understand the difference between the two lifestyles, walking around everywhere and relying on vehicles and stuff. So I really started there, walking around everywhere, and I also incorporated a lifestyle of celibacy, a choice of celibacy at that point, in order to develop my understanding of romance and love, and be able to express those things in different ways other than just the physical ways that I was caught up in,
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no worries.
I do have a couple of questions from the chat room I want to make sure that we get to before the end of our show. One of the questions is whether there are enough who are able to search for a better way. Do you have any practical, simple steps?
Simple steps to what? Search for another
way?
Or...
Yeah, a better way of living, of life in general.
I think it all starts with
expressing.
Right. I think it all starts with a personal responsibility to develop our own unique relationship with the powers that be. As I've said, we're all a perfect articulation and expression of a piece of God, and I think it's best for us to further explore that within our own self, and make that a priority. I see our society moving into fitter society, like as far as physical health goes. Everybody's on fitness kick, which is great. I mean, that's great. I see us attacking and getting in touch with our emotional well-being, but I do not see a whole lot of people really developing their spiritual understanding. I see their own spiritual understanding in relationship. I see them adopting other people's understanding in relationship, and exploring other people's understanding in relationship, reading books, whatnot, but really all it takes is getting in touch with the powers that be, or your idea of the powers that be for yourself,
Yeah, and speaking of that leads to another question that we have here in the chat room. If you guys have any questions, make sure you do jump on over to kgraradio.com/chat for the chat room to ask any questions that you may have. The question that has come up was, did you turn to a church as part of beating your addiction and make it part of your healing?
I have gone to church as part of my path. It was a Christian church, and their focus was on, I guess, relationships and building relationship with God, and also on meeting each other right where you're at. And although those were their mottos, I felt like I reached a point where they kind of were telling me to let God be God. And what I heard when they said that was, let the pastor be the pastor. And I'm not here to be told how to operate or be stifled by limiting belief systems. So yeah, I turned to some church, and it wasn't in regard to addiction, but I've addressed my addiction spiritually, if that counts as an answer to the question. I have participated in spiritual-based recovery type stuff, but also been a little ostracized based on the depth of what I want to be talking about. I don't think people are ready for that in church.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about what that is for you?
What do you mean?
For those who are in recovery or looking to a means of recovery, like what were the spiritual steps that you took part or are currently taking part in?
Sure. I participate in a 12-step program. I've worked steps out of a step working guide that's provided in the program. I don't know about what the traditions are as far as promotion. So if you're interested in recovery, it's available for you, and each of these steps that you work in a workbook, they're just really general questions and about things that you've done in the past, and about it's really challenging your limiting belief system about who you are or how you identify yourself. I would challenge anyone to work through those steps, addiction or not. We're all addicted to something, whether it's food, television, just challenge yourself, and yeah, I do participate in a 12-step program. I do it a little differently than most, and as you can probably tell, I'm not real well received in the program, but I'm not pushed out of the program either. So, yeah, I'm a little bit more spiritually minded than most people probably, which is okay.
Mm-hmm. It's your journey after all.
Yeah, it's the journey that I've chosen. So, yeah, sometimes I'm sure that people can relate and sometimes they can't, but ultimately, the fact is I don't have to use drugs today. I don't have to use alcohol today. I do use tobacco every day. That's a choice. I feel like it's one of the last places that I get to hide a little bit, and it's also I've incorporated it into ceremonial type communion with God, if you will, and visualization of the smoke, kind of like prayers or whatever.
Right,
so.
Right. I've seen that take place in a lot of different types of ceremonies. I mean, after all, like Native American, which is very traditional around here in Utah.
Sure.
The basis of our state is based off the Ute Indians. And I wouldn't say that, but they were here first. Let's put it that way. And they smoke. They smoke tobacco and peyote and whatever that looks like. And I think to each their own too, because our journeys are all so individualized that it can look and be whatever it needs to be for us in that present moment, and always up for transition or change in any way.
Sure, I'm a firm believer in like the medicinal use of herbs and whatever means necessary, as long as it's medicine.
Mm-hmm.
If it becomes a place to hide, or if it's not medicine, if you're smoking pot every day to make it through the day, you probably are addicted to pot. And I know that people say that it's not addictive or whatever, but BS. I've been addicted to pot. I have needed pot, to make it through
as
the
a
day.
coping mechanism.
Yeah, just as an escape or
but not
whatever.
as a physical addiction. So much.
Maybe not so much. I remember getting headaches when I didn't have it or whatever. It's probably more of a mental thing than anything. But yeah, as far as addiction goes, man, you don't have to use. There's plenty of resources out there. So.
Well, aside from the addiction, because, well, once again, you said everyone's addicted to something, which is very true. If someone found themselves listening to this broadcast and they were in a place of, I want a different way of life. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want it to look this way or be this way. What are some things that you would say to them as first steps to breaking any type of addiction, whether it be chemical or television or whatever that looks like?
Well, the first step is obviously a surrender of the behavior. You got to surrender the behavior. Stop investing in the behavior. Even just an interruption in your usual routine with the behavior can be an initial step. Not everybody's going to be able to put their drug of choice down all at once, but you start disrupting the pattern, whatever that looks like, even if it's just maybe not picking up at a certain time as soon as you're moved to do so, as soon as you have that craving or whatever, you wait and participate in something else, shift your focus to something, whatever it is, spiritual, physical, emotional, whatever it is, whatever you need to do, whatever, something positive, hopefully for you. Shift your focus, for just that moment and see how it goes. First step for me was finding my way into a meeting, I continued to use for quite some time and still go to meetings, and I would use in between meetings sometimes, like even if it was just alcohol or whatever, I say just alcohol.
You rationalize it in your mind, right?
Right. I say just alcohol, but really alcohol is so damaging for me, it's so damaging for me in my relationships. Alcohol is, it's not damaging for everyone, for me, it really is. And it gets to that point. It's just best left untouched for me. So, that was the first step for me. So if anybody's really struggling as to what to do, find a meeting to go to, in your area, wherever that may be. I'm sure that they have meetings somewhere, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Codependence Anonymous, Sex Anonymous. I mean, you name it and they have it, So, they're out there and these programs work, it's really,
they work if you work.
Well, yeah, you got to do the work, but they really do work, and I've been acquainted with, the programs for, 21 years. And I just must say that that's where I got acquainted to myself, introspect, is where I really got the opportunity to start looking at myself and acting differently. And like I said, even if it's at the surface level, if you want money, if in your life, if you want monetary success, I mean, these are ways to get that stuff without being attached to your drug of choice or whatever, these are really productive ways to live. For some, I've taken it to the next level and challenged even those ways of living as a type of addiction, to comfort or whatever. And I believe you got to get uncomfortable if you want change. So,
isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Do you find that there's a bigger amount of growth in being uncomfortable than there would be otherwise? Like a more substantial, a more progressed way of growth?
Absolutely. For me, comfort is stagnance or dereliction almost. Like for me to step out of my comfort zone means an opportunity to interact on a new level. You know what I mean? In a productive way. It's also an opportunity to really screw things up, so, yeah. I mean, it is what you make it, so for me, I take opportunities to get uncomfortable, try new things. Not all the time. Sometimes I'm okay just letting sleeping dogs lie, if you will, and just kind of settling into a groove for a little while, but a lot of the time I'll notice that groove when it does start to feel like dereliction and I start to get in bad spirit, then I'll move into different activities.
In the beginning of our wandering together, we touched a little bit on this, and we have prior to the show about self-love and what that looks like. So in conclusion, we still have, 5 minutes or so. I want to talk about that and the addiction to the self-love trend, if you will, that's going on right now in loving ourselves so much that there's no repercussion in doing so.
Right.
Because I know you're very passionate about this, as am I, and that's why I want to bring it up with you.
Okay. I'll speak on that a little bit. I guess, excuse me. I guess my perception of love is I can spend all day loving myself, and it really doesn't amount to anything except my own comfort, right? A manipulation of others in order to fit into a certain mold so that I can feel comfortable because I'm busy loving myself, It seems egoic to me and narcissistic to me. It's an investment in yourself. And now, not to say that investing in yourself is a bad thing, but once again, there's a balance. I believe it was somebody that I got acquainted with at your shop that said to me and educated me, and this might be common knowledge or whatever, but it wasn't my knowledge, so I don't really care. I'm just going to throw it out there. The heart chakra has two colors, pink and green. So love for yourself and love for others, And I think that that's really the all-encompassing love that we're talking about. Otherwise, it's an egoic abomination that ends up in narcissism. So I think, once again, we have to find a balance, And if you can remove your ego from any situation, it should be in the love aspect, in my assessment, because at that point, you realize that when you love others, you are loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't subscribe to the whole, I can't love anyone else until I learn to love myself. I learned a lot about love by having children, and I learned a lot about love by having children. And I know for a fact I wasn't loving myself at that time. I was investing in them, you know what I mean? So, at that point, a lot of people do get caught up in the whole loving themselves bit. And I think it's egoic. I think it's a useless expression if that's where it stops. If that's what your goal is to learn how to love yourself, I think you're useless, really. Because it's masturbation at that point. Literally,
Touché.
like,
Touché.
I can spend all day doing that and making myself feel good, but who cares, so what? Once again, it's about love in action, right? So, for me, love in action is going to involve other people, and it's going to make a ripple collectively, I want it to anyway. I want to be able to love someone on that level that it makes rifts in people's reality,
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like that's the good stuff. Like, we're sent here to have all of these experiences for our greater good and our growth and whatever that looks like. But in all honesty, my truth is loving another in the way that you explain, and having that selfless, unconditional love. I think it's such a beautiful gift that we could give other people, and in return that, it does fulfill us. It is a purpose to us as well. And I think that is a really great way that you explained it to us. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I appreciate you. This has been so much fun. 2 hours. I always say this. It always goes by so fast.
It did go by fast.
Yeah, it goes by so fast. And where you're not on social media, I don't know if you're comfortable in giving your number. If not, we can have people get in touch with me through my email address or website in order to get in touch with you, because we did have someone reach out and wanted to know how you could assist them through recovery in that way, and you were happy to do so. So
sure.
Are you comfortable in giving your number, or would you like them to reach out to me?
Absolutely. 801-686-1506. Feel free to call if you have any sort of questions. Also, I am on social media. I don't know if it's accessible to anyone. I don't really check it so much, but I do even employ the Messenger application. So it is a vehicle, but I don't really participate in posts that much or anything. I think the last post I posted was about my ex-wife's birthday and letting her know if she was watching that she is so loved and doesn't even know it,
That's so good. That's the good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your number. I can guarantee someone's going to reach out to you because you have a lot of experience and you come from such a heart-centered space, and people can feel what a good soul you are, or if they're viewing, I've had some comments of you look like you're a good soul.
Oh.
And they're feeling that vibration even through the radio and live Facebook ways. So thank you.
You guys are sweet. Thank you.
It's so good. I appreciate you once again. Thank you again for being here on Soul Wanderings.
Thank you.
Next week on Soul Wanderings, we are having Dr. Joanne visit us. She empowers all humans and animals to live in balance as one. She's an animal rescuer of all kinds and encourages all of us to walk the earth with care and compassion and to honor and speak our own truth. It would be safe to say we're going to have yet another inspirational wandering.